You are listening to The Michael Lodge Show. Wealth, business, and taxes. Oh, yeah, and some politics. Let's get started.
And here we go. It's another day. Good morning. This is Mike Lodge. I'm glad that you've joined me. Another podcast, another day, another $1.52. Let's get going, shall we? Say, listen, last night, well, yesterday, I should say, the Congress passed a big, huge stimulus bill of $1.9 trillion. Who's paying for that? Yep, you and I. Now, a lot of that bill is not necessary. It is just a bunch of giveaway money, and it's not necessary. A lot of it has nothing to do with COVID. Now, I want you to also know that there has been a whole bunch of tax stuff put in there too. But a lot of it's just temporary, just for 2021, when you file your tax returns then. So don't think that what I've noticed in the last few hours is that the Democrats and the media have really tried to build this bill up that was passed like it's something grand. So they talk about the tax incentives, they talk about the Child Care Act, they talk about all this different things, but they fail to talk about the money, the majority of the money that it went to, and it should never have gone to, especially to states who have a tax surplus, have got money left over in the bank that are asking for billions of dollars. California and New York, those states especially. So, as you read the media and as you hear the spin from media, please take into consideration that it's not telling you a big portion of that story. And it needs to be told. People have got to understand that the money that has been spent, all money, the taxpayers' tax money that they spend and that they put, not that they spend, but they put into the tax system every year, is now being mismanaged by a Congress that wants to make political points. And that is a bad situation to be in. It really is, because when we start wasting money and when we start doing paybacks in politics, it becomes a mess for the American people. I want you to understand that only about 1 to 9% of that went to COVID. In other words, shots and medicine and medical and everything else. A lot of the money had nothing to do with COVID. Now, the Democrats are not going to tell you about this. They are not going to talk about it. They want to talk about things that are going to make points with the taxpayer because they just spent your money. But let me tell you what's inside that bill. Over $1.5 billion went to Amtrak bailout. $1.5 billion went to bail out a train company. $86 billion for union pension bailouts. Those are for states like California, who are so in debt that they could literally fall because they have promised too much to their employees, and they're all unionized. So $86 billion union pension bailouts, $34 billion in Obamacare bailout, $350 billion bailout for state governments with budget surpluses, which I just talked about. So understand that that's not what a relief bill does. It did not pay attention to the individuals who need to get those shots, who need to get back to work, who need to open up their business. They didn't care about that. So they went and they paid off all of their crony governors who mismanaged their states tremendously bad. And they used our taxpayer money. So I really want you to think about that as you listen to all of this spin going on. And right now, there's a lot of spin I mean, a lot of spin to make this thing look good when it's not good. So when you hear about those tax benefits and stuff, understand those are just short term. They do not continue on. It's just for a short period of time. And when you hear about them talking about helping the states out, yeah, they're helping the states out with nonsense, especially the states who have a tax surplus, who have money in the bank. It's really amazing to me. So, listen, forget about the spin. Just know that your tax dollars are not going to help COVID as much as they should, but they're going to help other pet peeve projects of the Democrats. And this, and remember, not one single Republican voted for this because they saw what it was. Now, they could have, the Democrats and the Republicans could have drilled down and said, this is what we really need to come out of this bill. But no, what did they do? They used Nancy Pelosi and they put a lot of pork in it. Remember, we used to talk about pork spending a lot in the past few years. And we thought we had gotten this pork stuff out. We used to call it the pork barrel. We thought we had gotten this out of these legislative things, but no, it's there. And Congress and the Senate are misusing your taxpayer money. Don't listen to the spin. Just know that this $1.9 trillion just put us in more debt. Your portion of the debt just went up. And the money is being spent in places that should not be spent. We should not be bailing out Amtrak. Should not be. So my second portion of my podcast today is about startups, because I know that a lot of you would like to start up a company. And you want to get going and getting this thing up and running and everything else. I really, it's a pretty good article. It's by Mandy Gilbert of, well, it doesn't really tell me where she's from, but what she does is she owns a recruiting company. So she wrote an article in Inc. magazine, and it's called The First 3 People You Should Hire When Starting a Business. It's a good article. However, it's more geared, her thought process is more geared in the hiring process for her own company. Now, a recruiting company is totally different than any other company. If you're going to manufacture something, it's not even close to what a recruiting company is. A recruiting company is just dealing with HR issues. That's basically it, in hiring contracts. So she made a very good point in what she said, and I agree with most of them, okay? And her top 3 people that she felt that should be hired. Someone way smarter than you. Now, I agree with that. I believe in hiring people smarter than me. Because I really need it. I'm not all that up there, okay? And I'm the first one to admit it. I know my business. I know what I need to do in that business. But I need people that's smarter than me. People who are going to advise me. People who have started things before. Who have the expertise in doing stuff. The other person that she said you should hire is this, and I believe in this also, because this is what I've done in the past. Hire an enthusiastic go-getter. That's that person that's going to go out there and do anything. Willing to learn anything, go out and do it. Take a risk and say, I don't know how to do it, but I'll learn how to do it. Or we'll go out and accomplish things. Who knows how to file things, know how to organize an office, knows how to generate content that gets that information out there. This individual has got to be this go-getter person that will do anything. Just like I know as a startup person myself in the past, I would do anything. And that's the same kind of person that you need to be your right-hand person almost. Somebody who has the ability to, who thinks positive, who is motivated, who challenges you to think differently, that's the type of person that you need. So in your interview process, look for that individual that's going to do it. And then the third person, remember she's only asked for 3 people, right? Is a lawyer and is an attorney that you can trust. And she's talking more on HR issues. An individual who knows HR law within your state, who can put together or help you put together your handbook, your employee handbook, who can draft employment contracts, etc., etc. So her ideas were more geared towards her HR company she was forming. Well, let me just go on a little bit further, because since I've started these companies before, I know exactly what you need. I agree in finding a good attorney, but that attorney has got to deal with other issues. Contracts between vendors, contracts between employees, contracts between independent contractors, contracts between suppliers and vendors and everything else. So you need a contract a contract attorney, an individual who has contract background, as long as and as well as labor issues. But the most important individual that you're going to hire is your accountant. Now, you may think, well, I can't afford to hire all these people full time. You don't have to. There are people out there who do consulting that can come in and guide you along. At the very beginning, when you're putting together your business plan, hire an accountant that knows what it takes to start up a company, who has gone through it before, who can advise you on what needs to be done, who's going to tell you the truth, basically, on what you can and should not do, okay? Because if you start up, and if you don't have things in place for your accounting, you are going to mismanage money tremendously. Remember what I've said in all my other podcasts, is that your financial statement and your financial accountability is your story. And when you talk to investors and when you talk to buyers and you talk to all kinds of different people, they are going to want to know, what is your financial story? And if you can't give them a good, solid answer, you're probably not going to go very far. So that means that you have to have a very good knowledge through the individual that you hire to advise you on those financial issues. It's vital. And also on the tax issues too. There are a lot of different things that you could be doing to take advantage of the tax code for new startups. There's a lot of things that you can think about before you get going that involves your tax consequences as you start up this business. So an accountant and an attorney are the 2 most important individuals that you will hire. Now, remember, these people are not on a full-time basis. They can do this on a part-time basis until you get the cash flow generated that you can hire a full-time person to take care of that. But if you don't have your financial system set up at the very beginning, it's going to be very difficult for you to tell your financial story and to control your financial story. Who is going to be calling on receivables when clients are late? Who is going to collect the money? Who is going to generate the... I mean, there is so much to think about that you need that full-time or part-time accountant on your team. You really do. An individual who has gone through this before is a good source to rely on. Experience always helps, right? That's why people come to me, because I've got that experience of so many years that I now know I can now sit down with new clients and pretty much see what's going through their company books and everything, because I've been through it so many times with clients. So an accountant, an attorney, yes, vital people to hire on a part-time basis, on a contract basis if you want to do that. The other two individuals is really important because you need somebody that you can say, hey, go do this, and they're going to go do it. We always call them gophers, but they are the individuals who really get things done. Because you're so focused on building your brand or building your product or building your service that you need those other people that can go and do the things that you can't do yourself. If you think you can do everything at the very beginning, maybe you can. Maybe you're really good at that. And I applaud you if you are, because I love those kind of people. But if you feel that you need help, get someone to help. If you feel that your day isn't long enough to accomplish everything that you're doing, hire someone part-time or full-time to do what you can't do, to get the things done that you need to get done. There are reports coming in all the time. Cities are sending you property reports that you need to fill out. There are things that need to be delivered to clients. There are letters that need to be written. There are all kinds of different things that you should or could be doing, but you're a startup and you can't do everything. Find someone that's committed. So find someone that loves doing that sort of stuff. Listen, when I started my practice a long time ago, I used to take my horse and wagon to my office, and I would literally get on the teletype machine. No, I'm just joking. But I took on clients and projects that no one else wanted to take on. And pretty soon I was known for doing that. And luckily I had a really good background in accounting. So I remember the first two projects that I took on, and they were, 2 and 3 year, 4 year projects, was when companies were merging together, that they needed to have consolidated financial statements. Now, consolidated financial statements means that you're taking all of the companies that they bought and creating a reporting structure so that you can tell exactly how well the other divisions or companies were doing and where you stood as you consolidated all of the financials together to show what your income and your balance sheet was, what your cash flow was, and how you can manage that. So that's what consolidated financial reporting is. It means just taking a whole bunch of companies and adding them together and making sure that they're being reported correctly. And in my situation, a lot of these companies were worldwide, so I had to deal with foreign exchange rates and exchanging it back into the United States dollar. So I had Hong Kong and Taiwan and China and Ireland, and I had all these countries that I had to consolidate the financials, but also worry about what the exchange rates of how we were reporting the numbers. And then the other issue is that in a lot of countries you have to have off the book records. In other words, in China, they report financials at that time. They reported financials differently than how we reported them in the United States. So when we filed the tax returns in China, let's say, we had to report based upon their accounting rules. And then we had the American account. So anyway, I'm making this way too complicated. And listen, if you need to take a sip of coffee to get the caffeine, running into your bloodstream, go ahead and do it. Because, listen, accounting is a boring subject. Every time, let me tell you something. Every single time that I do an accounting blog, my listeners are down to 1 and 2, okay? So I understand. If you need to get some coffee, go ahead and get it now, okay? But let's get back to my original thought process here, because I digressed badly. So those are the important individuals that you need to hire. And listen, when you feel that you're overwhelmed, and if you got the cash at that moment to bring someone in to help you, do it. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Even if it's your mom. And she can come in and organize your files. Ask your mom to do it, because she'll probably work for free. because she loves you. Ask a brother or a sister sometimes if you need help in shipping orders. Bring them in. They love you. But if you can't find someone in the family, because, I always am trying to use free stuff and then pay back to the family later. But if you feel as though that you're overwhelmed, you probably are overwhelmed because you have so many things coming at you. Find that get up and go person that can come in and help you. That's what you need to do. Never feel as if you can't ask someone to help. Now, one of the other aspects that I've always tried to teach clients is build yourself an advisory board. Bring in people that are going to advise you. Now, this is not a paying job. These are people who can advise you because they've gone through the experience before. Maybe it's an individual that has started up companies before. Maybe it's an individual who has had accounting issues before that can guide you along of what they experienced. Maybe it is a minister that can guide you spiritually. I tell you, when you are starting up a new company, sometimes you get drained spiritually. And you need that spiritual advisor to come in and kind of build you back up. And maybe you may even need what is called a business coach. And that business coach can sit down with you on an hourly basis, maybe once a week or maybe twice a month, and just listen to what the issues that are in your head. Because if that individual has solid business experience, that individual can advise you on the direction that you may need to go and ask the questions that you need to hear and think about. So don't ever think that you're alone in this, because you can bring in people at $65 or $100 an hour that are good business coaches that can guide you along. So you have a lot of expertise out there. Even the Chamber of Commerce, they have mentors. You can call your Chamber of Commerce and say, listen, do you have a mentor program that they used to have a special name for it? And I'm trying to think what that name was. SCORE? Maybe it was SCORE. I'm kind of thinking it was SCORE, but this is a long time ago, okay? But these are individuals who have, the retired individuals most of the time, who have business people who have gone through all of this before. I believe it is called SCORE. But ask your local Chamber of Commerce if they have a mentorship program or a SCORE that can, individuals who have gone through business before, that can sit down and talk with you about your issues. So there is help out there. Don't think that you're sitting there alone. You don't know, off this podcast, I get hundreds of emails that come in asking questions. And I love that part, because that means I know that people are thinking out there. They've got concerns that they want addressed. And I love answering these questions. Listen, in my side of business, I look at all the industries that I have participated in as a financial guy and as a tax guy. I have done entertainment. I have done cogeneration power facilities. I have done international shipping companies. I have done manufacturing. I have done real estate. I have done companies that recycle. I have done companies, all kinds of different companies, construction, crane companies. I have done all kinds of different kinds of companies, consulted to. And so I've gained this ability, and there are a lot of people out there that can do this if they've been in business for a long time. They can sit down, look at your financials, and they can normally tell you, okay, this is what's going on. And you need to hear the results of what's going on. And you need to be able to listen very carefully. Take as much notes as you possibly can on the advice that that individual is going to give you. And if you don't think that that's right, then get a second opinion. There's so many people out there that can give you another opinion. But keep moving forward. Keep moving forward on building your brand, building your product and service. Keep moving forward, but get people in that are going to help you along the way. And they're there. You just need to find them. I know there is a app that's out there that I'm a part of, and where I get a good portion of my clients, and it's called Thumbtack. So if you're looking for a business coach or a business advisor, put it on Thumbtack, and it will go out, and you will get bids in on whatever project that you need to get done, and you will get the best bid. And you can look at the bids as they come in, and you can also look at their background, because each of the vendors there have to list their background and what their expertise is in. It's also good to see how many people are coming in and giving them good reviews. So what I'm saying basically, as I seem to digress in my storytelling here, is that you have the ability to reach out to people who have the experience. Hire well. Hire people much smarter than you. Hire the people that are going to guide you along the way in your accounting and legal issues. And focus on your business. And when you need help, ask for it. There's nothing wrong. You don't need to know everything in the world of business in order to start a business. You just need to know what you want to be done and hire the people that can do it for you. And hopefully on the cheap. Because I sometimes I wonder if I'm not a recluse or something, or a miser, because sometimes I think cheaply. But it's okay. That's life. Listen, every single day, even in my small business, I'm always thinking, I'm always looking at new ways of doing things, new ways of getting my content out there, new ways of people understanding what I do as a business mediator and as a family mediator. I'm always searching for new ways to reach out. And I found that on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Flipboard. And I mean, I'm on so many different media outlets out there, social media outlets out there, that I'm literally trying to post content every single day so people understand business and they understand mediation. Because those are the two things that can save you so much money. If you understand that mediation can resolve your conflicts or disputes much cheaper than legal counsel out there when it comes to trying to settle disputes and trying to go to court. If you base your contracts that you're issuing out, that you have a mediation and arbitration clause in there, you will save so much money in legal costs. And you can resolve issues much faster, much faster than court. So that is my lecture today. Lecture, what do we call this? Lecture on knowing who to hire when you start up. And also to bitch about the COVID bill of $1.9 trillion. So I did two things today. I taught and I moaned and groaned. I am a good American. Because that's what we seem to do, right, in life? We moan and groan, and then we try to find answers. We moan and groan and find answers. And I think that's the way Americans are. Even though we moan and groan, at some point in time we're going to get things done. That's just how we are. We don't believe in just sitting around moaning and groaning. We don't. Even though we enjoy it. We enjoy moaning and groaning. We enjoy complaining, and we sit there and complain. But at the end of the day, we get things done. We go out and we do it. We just don't sit there. So my moaning and groaning lasts 10 minutes per day. It's 10 minutes per day, and then the rest of the time, I'm going to learn something, and I'm going to get things done. Practice that rule, and you will go much further than just sitting there blaming others. I wrote something today, and you can probably find it on Twitter and everything else. But I wrote something today, and I really want you to really think about what I wrote, because it's true. So you can see this out there on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all places. But I wrote this morning. I said, if you're going to tell your story, don't blame others for your bad decisions. Thank them for the learning experience and then build something gigantic. Let's go out and build something gigantic today. You and I, we can do it. Let's build something gigantic. Listen, if you like my content, help and support me on it's called www.buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. Again, that's www.buymeacoffee/ I just goofed it up. No wonder I'm not making any money off of that, because I goof it up every single time. Buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. If you have a business question, if you want to have a comment or send me a comment, you can text me it. It's 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682. Or you can send me an email at info@lodge, LODGE-CO.com. So you got two opportunities to reach out to me. Okay, that's the end of my podcast. Everybody go out, build something. Let's build something gigantic today. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye. This podcast is produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.
Hello, emotions. Hello again. As every ocean come as rain. I know my circles. I know my name. Another sequel is on the way. Oh, my love, reform and rise to be so free. In time we seize infinity. Growing love. Hello, my borders. Hello again. You're out of order. I'm out of pain. We're closing circles.